They show the live performance.
Do they?
They show it a lot.
Oh, that's interesting.
A lot.
So would you say that the dance one has ever been shown?
I don't know. I don't know. It's never been shown.
Great. That is really interesting.
Did you start out dancing before you became a singer?
No, when I left school at, I was about 16, 17, and I actually left school with the decision that I wanted to throw myself into the world of music and go forth and get into it, and I felt that I had to work in order to find a way in. And I took up dance really to sort of fill up the day, give me some kind of discipline and a way to get to meet people and become independent.
Really? Like, I mean, does it take a lot of time? Do you work out a lot? What has it done for you?
It did an incredible amount, especially when I started back then. I had a recording contract, but I didn't know when I was going to be making the first album, and I had, in a way, time to kill and use until that point. And I had very little experience, certainly of the business, I mean, coming straight from school. And I had almost 2 clear years of going to the dance school, learning to dance, getting more control over my body and writing, just using the time generally as the kind of foundation for what was to happen next when the album was released and the single was very successful. I think without having used the time like that, things could have been very different for me. It's very lucky.
Do you choreograph all the clips then? Like Sat in Your Lap and Suspended in Gaffa and Wuthering Heights, was all your choreography?
Yes, and those ones that you mentioned particularly. I worked with a choreographer when we toured, and I was using 2 dancers, and he was involved with integrating the routines between the 3 of us. And on the Running Up That Hill dance performance, I worked with a lady choreographer called Diane Gray, and I really enjoyed that. It was really exciting to work with someone else and get that feedback, and her experience with my sort of non-technical ideas were a very good combination. We had a lot of fun.
Where did you shoot some of these? Like Suspended in Gaffa, it's like in a barn or something. Are these all sound stages, or did you use locations?
Yes, they're all stages and extremely good designers.
Okay. I want to go back to when you were signed and everything like that, so back in time a bit. And do you feel that you started very young and recording very young, had an album at a pretty young age, right? And do you feel that it was an advantage to you or a disadvantage that that happened to you so early?
I think it's been a big advantage. I am doing what I want to do. I really want to be involved in this business. I don't think, if I hadn't have started so young, I probably wouldn't have my own recording studio now. I probably wouldn't have the kind of control that I have over the situation at such an early age. So I think it's been really beneficial for me.
What role did David Gilmour have in getting you signed?
I was about 15. My family thought it would be interesting to see if we could get some of my songs published. I'd written loads of songs. I just used to write one every day or something. And through a friend of the family who knew Dave Gilmour, we made a contact for him to come and hear some of my songs. At that time, he was sort of scouting for talent, looking for bands that he could produce or become involved in or just encourage. And I became one of the people that he was visiting. I think he liked the songs sufficiently to feel that it was worth him actually putting up money for me to go in and professionally record the tracks, because all my demos were just piano vocals, and I had, say, like 50 songs that were all piano vocals. And he felt, quite rightly, that the record company would relate to the music much in a more real way if it was produced rather than being demoed. So he put up the money, we went into the studio, recorded 3 tracks, and I got a recording contract from that.
Great. Now, what about Peter Gabriel? How has his music influenced you?
I think anything you like influences you. And I do like his music. I think he's very clever, he's brilliant, and I think he's one of the few people who is trying to do something interesting with contemporary music.
Okay, what do you mean by that? By like interesting, different? Well, you didn't say different, but you said interesting.
Well, I think it's both, and I don't think there's much of that happening. For me, the Floyd were doing something very interesting, especially with The Wall. Talking Heads are doing something very interesting. I think David Bowie certainly was, as was Roxy Music way back in the 70s. In fact, they set a kind of formula that people are still copying and getting away with now. I mean, so many people sound like Brian Ferry, so many people look or sound like David Bowie. And I think it's these kind of original stamps that create an incredible amount of imitators, but it's still these people who leave the mark and who are doing something really interesting.
Well, you sang with Peter Gabriel, right?
Say again?
You sang with Peter Gabriel on
Yes.
his records. Could you tell us about that?
I was really delighted to be asked to do something, and it was a lot of fun.
What was the song, and you know, what do you think of the song?
I thought it was a great song. I think that album that Peter did was one of those albums that actually set a mark in a point in time. And I think it was well appreciated, which is good. I think another album like that was David Byrne and Eno's Knife in a Bush of Ghosts. I don't know how popular that was here, but it didn't really get that much attention in our country, and I think that left a very big mark on popular music, particularly when you look at the charts at the moment. The things that are happening, again, in our country are so derivative of that album.
No, that's the sort of album that a lot of people in music and really follow music listen to a lot, so it definitely got a lot of attention. It wasn't like a top 100 album or anything,
No.
but it really had its audience.